All right, we've talked about freestyle, we've talked about backstroke, we always talk about breaststroke. That just leaves butterfly. Not that one. There we go. Butterfly doesn't have to be that scary. Let's talk about some things that you can do to make butterfly a little easier, a little less scary. Butterfly is all about the relationship between the chest and the hips. As the arms come around and enter the water, you want to get your chest down to help your hips get up real high. Remember, you've got those waves always coming in behind you. You want to get your hips and legs up on top of those waves to ride them and not get sucked underneath them. Now, some people, they get their chest down, but they don't really get their hips up. And some people get their hips up, but they don't really press with their chest. And some people don't do either one. We are going to build this chest-hip relationship from the ground up, starting with Superman presses. This is a very simple drill. It only involves one little movement. You lay flat on the water, hands out in front, and all you're focused on is pressing your sternum to the bottom, like someone has their hand on your back between your shoulder blades pushing you down. Now the trick is your head and hands have to be reaching forward, and your body doesn't like that. Your body likes everything to go together in the same direction. And so the problem I always see with this at first is people drop their head and hands with their sternum and they end up piking. They feel like they're doing it because their hips are getting way up. They feel all that air on their butt, but we don't ever want to be in a pike position in butterfly. Now, when you're doing this drill, when you need to take a breath, you simply stop what you're doing, pick your head up, breathe, put it back down, throw in a few flutter kicks to get going again, but then you're back to just pressing the sternum. That's it. From here, I like throwing in a skull. Yes, it does resemble a breaststroke sweep, but it adds a simple complexity to the original movement. Anytime you start adding everything back, it makes it more difficult for you to do that original thing that you were working on because your body has more things to think about. And so oftentimes it's a game of whack-a-mole where your body's like, okay, shoot, I gotta get this thing, wait, I gotta get this thing. And when I go get this thing, the other thing pop back up, right? And so what this does is it helps you start slowly building the stroke while maintaining your focus on that original thing that you were working on. Next step is no arm butterfly, also known as dolphin kicking with your hands at your side. All we are doing is adding dolphin kick into the chest-hip relationship and developing a good steady rhythm between the two. When you're doing this and you need to breathe to the side. It's less disruptive to the motion than picking your head up like you normally would in butterfly. All right, we are almost there. Last drill, I think, one arm butterfly. This is a classic done so wrong by so many swimmers. Here are some do's and don'ts for one arm butterfly. Number one, do take it slow. People often just take off on this like, all right, freedom, and they just start going. No, take it slow. Number two, keep your focus on the chest and hip relationship. Remember that you are throwing in a new complexity and your body doesn't do well with that. Now it has this arm to think about. It's like a goldfish. It's like, oh, okay. And it forgets about everything else. Don't let this mess up everything else. Number three, stay flat. When people do one arm butterfly, they always end up on their side the entire time, in part because they're breathing to the side, and in part because your body likes to do what's most comfortable. So if you're breathing to the side, your body is going to start tilting to the side, and you're just going to be paddling down the pool like this. Stay flat so you get the most pull, and so you get the best relationship between the hips and the chest and the hips. Last one, when I do this drill, I often like to drop my thumb down and scrape the surface as I come around. And that is to help build this whole downhill butterfly swimming. It's not just about the chest and the hips. We talked about downhill swimming in the last episode. As your arm comes around, arms, if the thumbs are not down, you can see that as my thumbs come up, it's just physiologically, it's more likely that my chest and my shoulders are gonna come up. But if I tilt my thumbs down, it puts more downward forward pressure on my body. And we want that in swimming, especially in butterfly. Oh my gosh, we've all been there, right? Where we're just like vertical going like this. It's not gonna help if our thumbs are up or forward as we come around. Get them down. And when we put it all together, the final product looks something like this. Good relationship between the hips and the chest, Thumbs down as the arms come around. When the hands are out front, they're reaching as the chest is pressing, and hands are entering about shoulder width apart. On that note, one of the most common problems I see with butterflyers is they come around and they bang the hands out front. It's pointless. You just have to separate them. We're not doing the old school hourglass pull. You want to kind of straight line it. And so you want to enter where you want to pull. Bringing the hands all the way together, all it does is disrupt your tempo and waste your energy. So that's it. The last thing I will say about butterfly is kick. Work your underwaters, especially if butterfly is something that is scary to you. Kick more, swim less. Good luck, swim different.